surprised me. So I am going to dig deeper, probably in a couple of days, out of curiosity to find out what function, what is it, what button am I hitting or that's turned on in Voicemeeter Potato that's doing it. So it's very easy to figure that out because I'll just start from the beginning. I'll turn everything off, just run a little bit of external EQ, just use the mixer as a mixer and run it through and see what that sounds like and use the EQ on the anon. But something's going on in that program that I'm not sure about. Steve, go ahead.
I just want to say this quick. If you can let Steve hear the lows, like they just talk, because it sounds like you're real closer into the mic, just talk regular like that. He'll hear all those lows in there. And number two is everybody's equal with sound, but Ron is, I think, a little bit too loud. You guys could comment on that.
I'm too loud?
You're a flippin' loudmouth, dude. No, you're just really strong in here, man. Well, both of you guys are plowing in here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it's very possible I have this set up too high. All right. Well, this is for Steve. I don't have a deep voice, but if I climb up on the mic a little bit, hey, 1, 2, 1, 2. I can get some lows. Now, I could never do that before. All right, that it didn't have that effect. So that's what I have to look into. So I don't know. Did you? Let me back off from the mic. Get away from the proximity effect a little too. Did you notice that, Steve?
Yes, I did. It's there. It's there. I'm going to download. Which one is it? Potato. Potato, right? I'm going to download Potato and try that just for figgles. I can't believe I'm going down this road. You guys are awful. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it would be. But go ahead, Richie.
I could see Steve pulling his hair out of his head like, remember Don King, the boxing promoter, pulling it all straight up in the air, this damn potato. No, I'm sure you'll figure it out easy. You're used to all of that software, and Ron knows pretty much how to figure that out. I went in there, and I was reading, and you got to set all these, your voice, what is that? The audio set up in Windows, and then you got to set it up on there, and then there's different outputs, I guess, for if you're on YouTube or if you're on all these different things. It was crazy. But I think Ron's going to help me get through this, and I'm going to be up there with you fellas.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. Well, before we talk too much about this, don't forget who gave this to us. It was Chris, and he had some help, KZ2N, and he apparently, after talking to him several times, he's not that technically savvy, I guess that's the term, and he just followed instructions from somebody else. I don't know who it was that set him up with this, so there is a third party involved in this who helped set this up, and all I did was copy the files, put them on my computer, tweak it for my microphone and my voice, and that was it. So I didn't do a lot, Rich, other than just figure out how to run all of this. And after all, that's all we have to know at this point. So, but I wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, Chris, definitely. And I think Chris, RGW or something, I think set him up, got on... what is that? That software you get on and you're right on his Team Viewer, and he set them all up, Chris.
That's right. It was a Chris. Right. Let me write that down. RGW, Team Viewer. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Well, anyway, I accomplished what I wanted to today. I'll get this on for you, Rich. How come my pure signal? Oh, I turned the pure signal off. Oh, I didn't turn it on. What am I doing here? I have an anon without pure signal. Stand by. Shouldn't do that. And you know what? Maybe in a few days, Steve will have another YouTube video up there with Voicemeter Potato.
Don't be. Holy cow. I got to check it out. So I'm wondering if there's something to do with the dynamic processing that enhances the spectrum, the spectral profile of the audio flowing through it. I'm kind of curious about that because Chris mentioned that. He mentioned that a while ago. I heard him talking about it. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. Yeah, Richie, the way I use Banana, and the cool part about it is what I found with this whole thing is if you push it really hard, that's when the problems start coming in. So, there's going to be inherent latency like Ron was talking about. It's just there, but you don't hear it. I have the receive all flowing through Banana as well. And I send it to all different programs like OBS. I send the actual receive out to I don't even know what you call it. I don't know. I use it 100% of the time. It's insane what this thing does. There's no noise. When you guys drop the key, there's nothing. Even when you talk, it actually makes people sound better than they actually are. So when people actually ask for audio reports, I have to tell them, hold on, let me put this in bypass because it makes them sound better than they actually are. It's insane what this does. It's like literally sitting in front of you, and it doesn't matter what the signal's an S0. If the signal isn't registering on the 7300, it still sounds like you're sitting right in front of me. It's freaking crazy, man. So all of that is piped using virtual audio cables set up in, which you can do it in Potato, to all different things. You can send it to all different places, all different software. The only thing I found is that if you push it really hard and you try and get the latency down, that's where things can get a little squirrely there. Over.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you then something. Just say I run an hour on YouTube video. I want to run an hour on talking and singing, music in the background. Now, when I'm talking, and then when I start singing, as I go into that, I need my music, and that comes from Sing Snap. I go on that site. I pay a yearly fee. You don't own any of these tunes. You can get all you want. I have a library of them, and you don't own them. You're just renting them. So I want to sing on that YouTube channel. Then it has like levels all in there. One is for the YouTube. Then the other one is going to be, it'll bring that music over into YouTube as I'm singing.
Right. So what that program will allow you to do is it'll allow you to direct monitor the incoming audio. It'll allow you to not only direct monitor, but let's say you wanted to stream to YouTube. Well, you can send that out. It comes into the, what's it called? Boy, it's been a long time. I just light it up and go. It comes into, you have virtual inputs on here. So it'll come into the Voicemeter VIO input. Right? And you can direct monitor that, and you can also send it to like OBS or whatever streaming software you're running. And it's virtually seamless. The only thing you'd have to do, and you'd have to test this, I found this it's not a problem. It's easy to figure out. If there's latency, right? So if you're singing, it's not so much the audio, but if you've got a camera on your mush, right, on your face, sometimes the audio can be out of sync with the video, and there's a way to correct that in the software. Like I use OBS for streaming and recording and stuff like that. It's free. Tons of tutorial videos out there. I think I even have some on the website, but I think there's some better ones out there. And you can adjust the sync on that. So what you do is you do a recording, you record, and then you play it back and you look at it. And if it's out of sync, you can correct that by a certain number of milliseconds, whatever it takes, right? But yeah, I mean, it's not a problem. You can take virtually any audio. You can take your microphone audio and send it wherever you want it to go. And as far as syncing it goes, it's not an issue. I found that monitoring audio latency is very good, very low. It's when you have all this other stuff connected to it. Over.
Okay. And now I'm not going to be using a Focusrite or Mode 2 or none of these things. I have a mixer here that I use, and I'm going to be using that with the software, and that should all work.
Yeah, that'll do her. That'll do her. I've gotten latency down. Now this is running banana. I tried potato years ago. It was a little quirky. It was like a crapshoot. When I'd light it up, I'd have to light up certain things in sequence. Otherwise, the whole thing would go sideways. But running the Anon, I had the latency down, I mean really tight, man. To the point where I could easily talk into the microphone and monitor my voice using a DAW. And it was virtually zero latency. Well, it's non-zero. Everything is non-zero latency when you're talking software, right? But, I mean, it's quick, dude. So that's something you'd have to play with a little bit. You can get it pretty tight at the expense of stability. Over.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, Ron. As far as getting the latency down, are you using standard drivers? They have the MME, which is what I'm using, and there's a lot of latency on that. That's the multimedia driver, Windows, but that was the most stable. Are you using ASIO drivers to do this?
Yes, that's the key. Yep, the ASIO drivers. And in the menu area, I'm looking at it right now. In the menu area, you go down to System Settings Options. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to train wreck the friggin' thing. Let me click on it. You have, of course, in the menu area, you have your buffering for MME, WDM, KS, and buffering ASIO. As it stands right now, I leave the buffering on ASIO on default. Now, I've run that down to, holy crap, dude, I don't know, 64 or something like that, and it is tight, but it becomes unstable. My buffering on MME runs at 480, WDM at 480, buffering KS at 480. It's all the MME is well below defaults, and it freaking rips. It kicks ass. On receive, flowing through, when I watch the spectrum, I cannot see any difference on the radio looking at the spectrum to when I hear the audio come out. It is like snappy quick. So yeah, and it's on float 32 LSB. Over.
Okay, so I'm not sure where you're reading this. I know you're not on the Anon. I think you're on the 7300. I'm not sure. Well, actually, I'm not sure what you're on. Where are you reading these now? I'm on the Anon here. I'm looking under audio. Where I can select a driver. I have MME selected, and Voicemeter banana selected for input, and my speakers for output. Where are you reading these numbers right now?
I'm sorry, dude. I should clarify. This is all in Voicemeter, because Voicemeter is the key. So I'm actually on the Sun, and I'm running. And on the Anon, I ran. Let me look at the sound card. I ran on 64 samples all the time on the Anon. Never had an issue. But that was with an onboard. I used a X-Media card in the computer, which is a game changer. I can't remember who put me onto that, but Carl told me about that. I put that X-Media card in the computer, directly connect the Anon to the computer. Holy crap, Johnson. Oh yeah. I could run 1 million something sample rate. I ran it, let it idle for 2 days. Didn't have one single sequence error. Not one error. I mean, it is light speed. That's, of course, on Protocol 2, right? So I'm on the Sun right now. 64 samples on the card. Now, if you go over to Voicemeter, I'm assuming Potato's exactly the same. You should have a menu button up top. Click that menu button and scroll down. You'll see System Settings Options. That's when you open that, you'll see all the buffer settings that you can set there. Over.
Yeah, okay, I'm open to that right now. So I have a MME set to 1024. Okay, so they have WDM, MME, which is what I'm using. I tried WDM KS, I think it was WDM I tried, and I don't know, I was having some sort of issue with that. I have to look at that again. You know, I always go back to MME because it just works. But of course, I have probably more latency. So given that I'm on MME right now and I have it set to default 1024, are there any recommendations from you that I should try to get the latency down?
Yeah, start stepping it down. You could try this from 1024. Mine is set to 480. And I never, ever have an issue with this on 480, which is literally half of 1024. So you should cut your latency down quite a bit. I would try it at 480, make the jump to 480, and if you hear any stuttering or buffering, you're going to have to go up from there. Now keep in mind, if you're going to play this game, you guys, of course, do what you want. And like I always say, mileage may vary. But I tend to stick with ASIO cards. So my microphone is actually plumbed into an Onyx, a Mackie Onyx sound card, 2-channel sound card. And, of course, you can set, let me look at the buffer settings where my sample rate's set to on the Mackie. Can't remember. Okay, that's set to 512 samples. Now I can push that all easily down to 128 samples. So if you really, I mean, and I'm talking cracking. So that's where the speed comes in. Your sound card is a make or break deal. If you're going to play this game, I always say get a reasonable sound. You don't have to spend exorbitant amounts of money. You don't. It's ham radio. It's not a freaking recording studio. You're not transmitting at 20 to 20K. Who freaking cares? Just a decent sound card that has good control over the buffer and the sample rate, right? That's kind of how I approach it, Ron. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Well, tell me if while I'm talking here, I switched to 480. Let me know if it sounds okay. I didn't hear any difference on receive. Receive was fine. Yeah, I'm using the internal sound card in the Geekom. I'm using a mini computer. It's a Geekom i5. So that could be where I'm getting some of the latency. I don't know. But, yeah, I can't tell. I'm not monitoring myself, so I have no idea if I gained anything. I have to do that separately. But anyway, I did go down to 480, and it seems to be stable. All right, there's a lot to this. For now, okay, my other question is, I know that there's an ASIO driver for my microphone, for the Focusrite, and I can select that. But then that would be selected in Potato, right? Because it's Voicemeter Potato, which is going to be seeing the Focusrite. So now on the Anon, is there a ASIO driver for Potato to the Anon? Is that a separate driver, Steve? Go ahead.
Okay, if my memory serves me right, I don't want to leave Richie out, but hopefully Richie, kind of put the record button on in your brain if you can. I know it's going to go deep here. Okay, in the Anon, I'm trying to remember. Okay, it's exactly the same as how I set up the Sun. So in the Anon, you're going to choose under your input and output in your VAC, you're going to choose Voicemeter Virtual ASIO. That is the ASIO driver for Voicemeter. You want that. On the input and output, I got full configuration videos up on how to do this. And that is the quickest. Of course, your buffer, you're going to set your samples, right? If I remember correctly in Thetis. I always ran mine at 64. I mean, it was rock solid. But it also depends on your port audio and your, what's the other one, Ron? Port audio and, crap, it's been a while. You know what I'm talking about. You're going to need to play with those as well. It's a multifaceted thing. And it also depends on your interface, like how you're communicating with the radio. If you're going through the LAN, you're not going to be able to push it as hard. I can just tell you that right now. If it's direct to the computer, heck yeah, dude. So you remove that variable out of the equation. I think port audio, I left it a little loose. So there was the ring buffer. Ring buffer and the port audio, I had one at 10 and one at 6. Never had stuttering or buffering. So, you can kind of... Okay, let me keep this brief. So you've got 3 areas that you need to look at. I'm trying to think of which one you'd approach first. The first one I would do is, if you're going to use ASIO, I would set up your card loose, on a loose buffer setting. Let's say set it at 256, right? If you've got, what was that card you said? Focusrite or whatever. Set the buffer there in the control panel at 256. Go to the Anon, set that at 64. If you're direct, set your port audio to set it loose. And your ring buffers, let's say set them at 60 and 30. All right. Then you can go over to banana or a potato and go to menu and set that as tight as you can get it and start playing with that. So the reason for me saying that is because there's a lot to it. To get all of the combinations stable but quick. That's the catch. You understand what I'm saying, right? So there's 3 areas primarily. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. K1 GMM WB2RON. Yeah, I'm following you completely, Steve. Yep, no problem. Currently, my ring buffer for what I'm doing right now, I have the ring set at 30 and the port at 1. And it's been perfectly stable. Never get any, virtually, once a month I'll get a, what do you call that? Fault. I forgot what they call that. Not an overflow or underflow. I forgot what it's called. And okay, I wrote down everything you said. I know what you're saying, and yeah, I just didn't know which one to attack first. But I'll do exactly what you said. Now look at your videos also. So I'll try to get this down. Like I said, my limitation maybe is the excuse me, is my computer. I don't know. So this whole area of latency was always a mystery to me. I don't know. There must be an easy way to measure latency. What I do is I use my Cool Edit software, my recorder, and I tap my microphone, and then I look to see, in other words, as the recorder is going across the screen, I wait until it hits exactly 0. At that point, I tap my microphone, and I wait to see when I see the blip. I know it's crude, but I can get pretty good at it, and it's about 450 right now, and around 600 when I add Voicemeter Potato. So Potato added about 150 milliseconds to the 450 that I already had. Anyway, listen, I don't want to tie up everything. I'm on with, I understand everything you said, and I'll move forward with this and see if I can get this down. And yes, I am using a direct connection between the Anon and the computer. I was told that right from day one when I got the Anon, go direct. You're going to eliminate problems. So that's how I set it up. I never ever used my router when I ran the Anon. It was always direct. So anyway, thanks for the input, Steve. You give me something to work on, and I'll see what happens. K1GMM from WB2RON, and you can turn it unless you have other comments, you can turn it over to Richie. Back to you, Steve.
Okay, yeah, coming to you, Richie here. And thanks for standing by, Rich. I appreciate it. like I always say, everybody's systems are different. They're different, and you have to tweak it, right, until you get things to work. Like the way I do things is not going to work for everybody. It's just not. Computers are different. Bus speeds are different. Blah, blah, blah. How fast can something pass data? Because this is all in the virtual realm, man. This is, right? So I can tell you, and Richie, you can verify this. Whatever you're doing, first of all, that's about the best. And I am recording this, and I'm going to put this up to YouTube in a little bit, just like I did last night. That's about the best I've ever heard you, man. I'm serious. That thing is freaking rocking. It is awesome. So, and Richie can comment, it is rock solid, Ron. There is I haven't heard, in this entire time, I haven't heard one stutter, one dropout, no buffering, no nothing. So, and you'll hear it. So just remember, the only thing I can say and encourage you with is always err on the side of stability. And this is something I'm going to say specifically for Richie. We talk about latency. Richie, you and I can't tell that he has any latency whatsoever. At all. Because we don't hear him talking in the room. So latency is only relevant if you're sitting there face to face and you're listening through a pair of cans, right? To the processed audio. That's the only time it's relevant. Other than that, who freaking cares? That's the part that I had to get over. I had to get over that. So go ahead, Richie. Get your thoughts and comments on that. But I didn't hear anything from Ron. That thing is freaking solid. So go ahead, man. I'm going to take a standby here. I'm going to listen for a little bit. I got to go up and say hello to the wife because H&R Stompin' Stuff is home. I'll be back in a bit. K1GMM.
All right, Steve. Yeah, I'm really wanting to get into this software, this Voicemeter Potato. And my audio, when I hooked up my racks, because I disconnected them for a while, and I hooked them back up, some knobs changed on the Aphex 204, and you know how it is. You can't hear what's going on over the ear. I'm listening with my headphones, and I'm thinking maybe they were there. And for days, I guess it was muddy, it wasn't good. And Frank got on, and on the Aphex 204, he said, just move the, I don't know what it was, the tune button in the drive, lower the drive down to tune, and boom. He said, everything's clear now. It sounds perfect. So I left it alone. But, listen to you guys. Like, you sound awesome. Ron, it sounds good. Chris says he has no latency. He doesn't hear any, he said. But, I really would like to get something like you fellas have. Because then, if it sounds that good, why bother with all these damn racks, I'd love to get away from them. If I can just get that bottom that I like in there, I'd be sold. But, stay right in there. We appreciate you giving all that information with Ron. And I love listening about this. So go ahead and pick it up with Ron, KF2 Goofy Guy.
Yeah, let me run upstairs quick. I promise I'll be back in a little bit. And I'm sure, if Chris jumps in, there are people who have gone really deep into this. And Richie, to be honest with you, I haven't touched anything in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, probably 3 years now. So probably a lot has changed, and I can actually learn. I can actually, expand upon what I already know. So that's why I like listening to you guys, because this is kind of like the audiophile romper room, 3854 romper room of audio. Go ahead, Ron. I'll be back in a minute. K1GMM.
Yeah, okay, Steve. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I know. Well, Richie's the one that's encouraging us to do this because he's always had the, the big voice on. I mean that, in the proper terms, Richie. You know what I'm saying? Your audio has always been very noticeable. People, I've actually heard people up the band and even on AM that talked about you and and your voice and the big sound that you have. So it's very impressive what you have accomplished with your rack equipment. I mean, it really sounds great with your voice. But you being wanting to try to achieve that using software, well, it got me interested too, and other people. So we'll give it a try. We'll give it a go this week and see what happens. And you can always go back. You always have something to fall back on. So, let's see. I don't think I'm going to stick around. I'll stick around another 10 minutes or so, but it's getting warm in this room now. You know, it's getting that. Last night, I couldn't even get on here. It was like 81 degrees in this room. It just gets too warm, and I haven't switched the AC on yet. So, this evening, I wasn't able to come up here because somebody else was busy with something. So, I wasn't sure when I was going to get up here, so I was in the basement. I had the 7300. I quickly connected that, and there you were, and that's when I got on there to let you know that I would be coming up here to talk to you about this. I just didn't know when. So I do have the 7300 in the basement, but I'll probably wind up bringing the Anon down there too, especially if I'm going to be down there for 3 months or so. You know, I can't be away from the Anon that long. Maybe a week is more than enough. 3 months, forget it. Anyway, back over to you, Rich. KF2GG from WB2RON.
KF2 Golf. Yeah, and I'm glad, too, that I got the Anon. You know, a long time ago, I got into it, and I thought it was going to be just another toy. You know, it was going to go out the door, but no, yeah, I love it. And, yeah, that will be good, like you say, fooling around more with it. But I don't know. I hear it on the lows. I mean, a big difference from the other day when I talked to him. I figured, what the hell did he do? But it is capable of lows, because now I hear him. Like if you talk like this, like even Chris, I hear some of the lows gone, but then if he's just talking like that, I feel, holy cow, listen to those lows. So then you know it's capable. Even like when I'm yelling, you may not hear it, but then I notice it's capable of the lows when I talk like that. So that sounds, I know Steve said he's been doing that, that's left it alone for 3 years. He sounds good. He sounds beautiful with that. And he's running, software. So definitely. Now hearing you and Chris and everybody is definitely, I think I can have those lows like you say. Now, are you running CFC too, Ron, like he was doing, Chris, or no?
Yes, I am. And, I never ran it before. I've tried it, and yeah, I'm using it. You know, I'm set up the same way Chris is, except that I had to adjust the EQ. I had to bring the bass down. It was just too bassy. The only thing I can think of there is the microphone difference. This XM8500 does tend to be a little bass heavy, and it can get a little muddy also. But that all goes away when you EQ it properly. I think there was one, the noise gate. I didn't like the noise gate. He runs a noise gate. I just didn't need it, because when I took the noise gate off, it was dead silent. I mean, nothing. And that has to do with the way he's got the compressor set. I don't fully understand it, but when I make recordings now of my voice and I stop talking, it's dead silent. I on my recorder, I just see a straight line on the recorder. I've never had that before. So I'm not sure what's going on with Potato, what it's doing, but the dynamic range, I mean, it's great. And at the same time, I'm hearing lows like I was using those Sony headphones. I said, wow, I never heard my voice like this before. I heard it instantly. So it's doing something like Steve said, there's something going on in Potato where they're doing some sort of processing. I don't know what it is. I didn't press the buttons to find out which one to take off to get rid of, that sound, but it's doing something. So it's good. Back to you, Rich.
Yeah, and I don't use noise gate even on the Anon, where you can put that DXP on, expander. Well, it's usually pretty quiet, but yeah, no, I mean, it definitely, there's a big difference in there. I was going to say something else. Okay, so CFC, oh yeah, I remember years ago, Harold said, I'm going to tell you a secret. He says, now go in there. He says, with his equipment he was running, he said, I use CFC. I said, what the hell's CFC? I don't have it on now, but I used to use it. He gave me his settings. And then Ed, N2PG, said he was running CFG and gave me settings a while back. So a lot of guys run that CFC, but also, like you said, it must have that software Lowe's in there. I don't know how you set it up with Lowe's. I guess you see it in there, but it's definitely capable. Hearing your Lowe's and everything, and that's the way to go. Sounds like that's the one to get, with this mixer. And it don't have to be this week, because tomorrow I'm not. I don't think we're doing much tomorrow, but I know Thursday I'll be busy. And it could be Friday, or it could be beginning of next week, or in the middle of next week. Once you're all done with your settings, you like it. I mean, it sounds perfect to me. So I don't know, but yeah, I definitely. The other time when I did it, right? Yeah, I wasn't too happy. But now, when I see how you sound with this software, I was like, holy crap. And Chris, I've been listening to Chris, and I'm saying, what the hell? Hey, Ron, I think a lot of people are going to be getting Voicemeter potato when they hear us all talking about it.
Yeah. Well, like, who was it? Was it Bill? I think it was Bill, yeah. Said, you don't really need to do this. It's a little bit of work, maybe there's going to be some issues. You might run into some issues, and most stations sound perfectly fine without this. And, you heard me before. You were used to hearing me with the other audio, with my regular setup. And it sounded fine. I always got a lot of compliments. The only thing this did is gives me it's given me I'm hearing maybe a little more clarity with this. It's hard to describe. It sounds a little more processed. In other words, it's maybe not as natural as what I had before. It's a little bit processed, but it's also extending my low end, and that's where I hear the biggest difference by far. And all right, listen, I don't want to just keep going on and on about this. In fact, I'm going to get out of here now, Rich. It's 6:20. I'm going to head on downstairs. So good talking to you. I'm glad everything here is working, and we can help you out. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Friday. I'll probably catch you during the evening, and we can firm up a time when that'll work for both of us. So with that, Rich, I'm going to get out of here. We'll say 73 and maybe catch you tomorrow. KF2GG, WB2RON.
You know what? I like your audio like this, Ron. I mean, it sounds good.
On when I'm getting off, Chris.
Yeah, stand by.
Yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, you said you heard AM guy talking about me. Holy crap, on AM, huh? Really? But they didn't say anything about me like, that fellow's a character. Yeah, his audio is good, but that fellow's a nut. But yeah, I guess that's good. The audio is good. And we were just talking about you, Chris, saying how your audio is. It's excellent. I'll stay in here for a couple more rounds, then I'm going to go in with the misses. Oh, and Chris, I heard you. I wasn't on last night because I did some fence work in the yard, and it tired the hell out of me. So I was in bed, and I put on my Apple iPad K3FEF site, and I'm listening to everybody. Then you said he's probably on Pal Talk. But Chris, no, I'm not on Pal Talk. I haven't been on there in over a month. Not to say I will get back on eventually, but when I'm not on here, I'm usually watching TV with the missus in the other room. Yesterday I was beat, so I went to bed, was watching television. But good to hear you in there, Chris. Pick it up.
No, I guess Ron, is that your Voicemeter potato setup?
Yes, I do, Chris, and it seems to be working great. I heard the difference instantly. The whole bottom end came up when I ran this. I was very surprised. Yes, I'm running potato. I just had to make a few tweaks. I had to re-EQ a little bit. In fact, I don't think I did it in. I think I did it in my regular equalizer. I just had to bring the low end down. It was way too strong for this microphone. And the only other thing that I did, I believe, was I turned off the noise gate. I didn't need it. I just didn't need it. If I find I need it, I could always switch it on. So that's the only two things I did, Chris. And then everything just fell in place, and I'm getting good reports. So how does it sound to you? Well, KZ2N from WB2RON.
It sounds very good. So yeah, it's a testament that's why I was trying to get it to catch on with you guys, and the right people playing around with it. For what it is, a free piece of software in your radio and a microphone, it's hard to beat.
Yeah. I was very pleased with that. I immediately heard it. I said, "Holy cow! I never heard my voice like that before in the low end." So yeah, it's great. And you probably missed this, but before when we were talking about it, I was saying, look, the only thing I did was took something that somebody else did and retweeted for my voice. And then I mentioned, that I got this from you, and I think it was RGW was the guy that really tweaked this in for us. So he's the one that, really gets the credit. What we did was take his work and set it up for our own equipment. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to help Rich with this in a couple of days, and we'll get him on here. And that'll be the real test, because we all know what Rich sounds like, and that'll be the real test. Chris, back over to you.
Okay, Ron. Well, I'm glad you're having fun with it, and I like to see people. It's all new. This hasn't been around for years, like the DAW stuff. But no, they come out with it not too long ago, and I love it, and I love the simplicity of it. And I hope Richie has good success with it, but he's a little particular with the audio stuff. So, hey, you know what, Rich? You get rid of all your racks and you're down to nothing.
I'd love that, Chris.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, I got to get out of here. I'm going to head on downstairs. I'm glad you stopped by, Chris. So this way I could let you know that I did get this working, and so far so good. All right, great. KC2N and with KF2GG, WB2RON is clear. 73s.
Listen to those lows, Richie.
Oh, wait, before he goes, listen, when he hears lows, just talk like this, Ron. Just like not too yelling into the mic. Let him hear those lows.
Yeah, well, I just don't have the deep voice that you have. That's about as low as I can go.
Do you hear those? That bass in there, Chris?
Oh, I definitely hear it, Rich.
Yeah, and you got it too when you talk like that. When you're going higher in your voice talking, you lose it. But when you did that, Chris, just talk like that all the time. People are going to be saying, "Oh, yeah, wow, that beautiful audio."
All right. Well, I hope you have fun with it. It's just something fun to do. I sold all my rack gear, and so I had to do something. It was either that or IHY boxes, but I think I'm past the IHY boxes now. I think the simplicity of this speaks for itself. So, all right, well, I'm here listening. I just got home from work, so I missed most everything, but I'm glad you're having fun with it, Ron.
Yeah, and just one last comment. Steve was on here, K1GMM, and he's going to do one of his YouTubes tonight with us on here. So I'm certainly going to listen into that. I'll be very curious to see how everyone sounds on it. So just wanted to let you know, Chris, that I assume he still has it going, because he said he was going to be back, so he's probably still running it. Okay, I'm out of here. WB2RON is clear.
7-3 Ron, thanks.
Kilowatt
KF2
Zulu
Goofy guy.
in November.
7-3 Ron, KF2 Goofy guy.
7-3.
Oh, listen to that bottom. I'm going to have that bottom when I get those potatoes.
You know what? I think did you get the software yet, Rich? Or Ron's going to do that. But just looking at the potato, it's like a whole console, an audio console on your screen, and then it has all the different features that you love. Not necessarily big bottom, but with the parametric equalizer and all the different things that it does do. And then you have your anon, to really bring it up one step more. Because it works pretty good with the Flex now. I got the 6600 and I've used it there, and the audio is good, but it's not nearly as good as the anon is.
Oh, okay. And I went to YouTube so you could see videos of Voicemeter Potato, the new version. and a lot of people are coming over from Banana, they say, to the new Voicemeter Potato. And yeah, it shows you, all levels, and you have to set up your hardware on there for your audio, and then Windows for your audio. And then you have all different inputs, outputs, where you can bring stuff over. If you're doing, which I want to do a YouTube video once a week, I can then bring over my music, be singing onto YouTube, and then talking like a radio station and talking about things. And so I'm going to play around with that a little bit, talking about activities, different things, and singing on there once a week.
Ah, cool. Well, anybody else want to get in there? KZ2N. We got anybody else in there listening, Rich?
Billy was in there, but I guess he went to eat. Anybody still in there? And then Steve said he'd be back. GMM, K1 GMM. He said he was going to be back in there. Who's in here? Anybody else with us?
Kilo 2.
Trouble here. Move over.
Rochester, New York, with a new radio.
I heard Mikey and somebody in New York. Say again, New York.
This is Kilo 2 Zulu X-Ray Joe in Rochester, New York. Just got out of radio for a while. Got a new radio here, an antenna. Hopefully it sounds okay. Back to you, K2ZX.
Hey, Joel, you sounded good. What type radio?
Oh, are you the New England guys?
Oh, no, I'm the Harvard man in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. I've been out for probably about 8 months. I had some issues, but very good. FT710 Aces.
Oh, nice. Beautiful radio. No, I'm not a Harvard man. I'm just clowning around. But no, it sounds good. How high up is your antenna?
Well, I'm on a 262-foot ladder line loop.
Ooh, that's nice. How you fellas hearing Joel?
About S10 here, Joel. KZ2N here, Chris, in beautiful downtown Port Jefferson.
Yeah, very good, Chris. I've talked to you before. I run the Rock City net, but I've been away for a little while. But sold the shack. Got an amplifier coming soon, and we'll probably get it out a little bit better. But no, I just wanted to check this out. Is my audio okay?
You're a little light to me, Joe. Sure, I know who you are. We've been talking for years, Joe. But I don't hear you. I haven't heard the Rock City net for a while. I thought it was on Wednesday. On was it 28 or I don't know. I haven't heard it in a while, but then again, I might not. It's easy for me to miss. But no, it sounds okay, Joe. I can't really give you an audio report because you're just not really full quieting. But it's working. I can tell you that.
All right. Well, okay. Well, that's okay news. I'm used to having a little QRO, But anyhow, very good. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming back to me, and I thank you very much. We're going to go watch a little bit of hockey. So 7-3. We'll catch you guys later. This is K2ZX.
Hey, Rick.
Quieting. That's an FM thing.
And he's a 15 over. Joel, you're 15 over here, New Jersey. But it's past 6:30. I told the missus I'd be in early tonight. And so we'll say 7-3. Mikey, Chris, Joel, anybody else who's listening, everybody have a good night, and we'll catch you mañana.
Hey, before you go, Rich, were you impressed with the way Ron got that? When I first turned on the radio, I knew right away before. I wasn't really aware of what was going on. And I heard Ron. I said, ooh, that sounds a lot different than the Ron I used to talk to.
Well, that's just what I told him. Like when he keyed up, I said, Ron? So what the hell happened? Totally different from 2 days ago when I talked to him. I said, wow. And I forgot what Mikey said. He was using a cheap mic. He never thought it was capable of lows. But he was saying with that potato software, it's giving him the lows. And I said, wow, you sounded good. So yeah, it's definitely good software. In about another week, I think he's going to help me set it up, and I'll definitely be using it.
Did you order your Motu?
No. He's saying that I can use my mixer here. He said it'll be no problem. So I'll try it with the mixer. If it doesn't work, then I'll get the Motu.
Oh, okay. As long as the mixer doesn't interject any extra stuff, you basically can just run it through, just to transport the microphone audio into the computer.
Yeah, Yes, that's what I want to see. Where if it doesn't add any other frequencies, anything into it, where it's going to complicate it, then I'll just go. I'll just. Oops, I'm using this foot switch. My foot slipped off. Then I'll switch over to the other if it doesn't work.
I get the.
All right, Roger. We'll say hi to Janet, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. And I'm actually excited. I'm loving that people are. I guess you know what it is once someone gets like the guys with the rack gear, they go, oh, what racks you got? I want to get that. It's the same scenario, but a lot cheaper. Okay, Rich 7-3 from Kilowatt Zulu 2 November.
I heard Mike, I think he said he got the dinner bell call. Okay, Mike, you have a good evening. Enjoy dinner. And, Chris, you're right. When everybody was into the racks, what do you got? Oh, I got a 24-9. Oh, man, he sounds like I got to get that. And that was the thing, right? Remember back in the day, everybody was buying racks, IHY boxes, then going to the racks. Now, I mean, you got me going on those. When I heard you with that Voicemeter potato, I'm saying, man, he sounds pretty damn good, And then Ron said he was thinking about fooling with it. He'd help me, And I said, oh. And then he went playing around with it. Now he's got it sounding awesome. And I'm saying, holy crap. But like he said, it's all because of you, giving him the software and everything. And he's got the CFC now set up and everything. So that was good. Thanks for sending him the software. And I think, you know what, Chris? I think more and more people are going to be listening. And I see a lot of people getting this Voicemeter potato.
Mikey, you got the dinner bell. I'll be around KC2N, and I don't want to hold you up from Janet, Rich, and I'm loving it. The more people that play around with it, I think the better it'll be. I mean, in my opinion, anyway. All right, 7-3, Mr. KF2GG from Kilowatt Zulu 2 November.
All right, Chris, 7-3, and I heard Steve back in there. Welcome back, Steve. And I heard Chris, RGW, on 40 meters. What was it, the other day? So I'm glad, I guess he's starting to get better. I guess he was in the hospital, so glad everything's working out for him. And we'll catch up with you laddies tomorrow. Everybody have a good evening. Oh, the potatoes. We're all going to be potatoes. A bunch of potatoes in a couple weeks. Over and out.
Steve, I'll help you as much as I can. Everything that I'm doing was done for me by KC2RGW, the other Chris. I refer to him as the other Chris. He may just be the Chris now. But the easy thing for me to do, Steve, is the same thing I did for Ron and I will do for Richie. I will give you my profile. That's one of my profiles, the one I'm using, and Voicemeter Potato. It's profile based also. And I can send you pictures of the way my Anon CFC and equalization is set up. And then that'll give a jumping off point for you. Oh, sorry to see you go, Steve, but I'll be in here for a few hours. Steve, just shoot me an email. I'm good on QRZ. Shoot me an email, and I will send you the file. It's just like, what is it? It looks to me, what kind of file is it? I'm just trying to get my computer. Tell me, oh yeah, it's an HTML file. I guess that's the way Voicemeter Potato does it. But I send you that file, and when you go into Potato, you just go into the menu and load that file, and it'll configure the whole Potato system for you. All right, Steve. Anything I can do to help you? I've really we talked about it last night. I don't want to go over it, but I feel like I'm talking to Julius W2IHY. I've talked to him only a couple of times, but nice fella too. But all right, yeah, I'll send you that file, no problem. It configures everything. It does most of your configuration. You'll have to set up your ASIO driver and whatever radio you use, however you're using it. There's a million different ways to use it, Steve. I'm using it with the Anon, and I definitely had a lot of assistance with this. But now that I've been playing with it a little bit, I understand how all the software works. I mean, where to set it, but it's just you're just a few clicks away. So 7-3 for now, Steve, and as always, great talking to you, and I'm glad you stopped in this evening. Seven three, Steve. All right, KZ2N listening in here on 54. I might move down to 45, or 44 rather. But listening in.
All right. I forgot to turn the mic audio back on. Sorry about that, guys. But it's not important. Wasn't important. We'll catch you all later. Good conversation. I'm going to try out Potato and see how that goes. I look forward to Chris. I'm going to send Chris an email right now and see if he'll forward me the HTML for can't call it Chiquita Banana anymore. So what I don't quite understand is how Potato is any different than Banana, because it's all dynamic processing. It's all dynamics. So how does it make the audio sound any different as far as bottom end goes? I don't know. So curious. We'll see. We'll catch you all later. 7-3.